You know that heavy, sinking feeling, the one that hits you when you mess up. But instead of just feeling bad about the mistake, you feel profoundly bad about who you are. It's a paralyzing emotional weight. It stops you from showing up, from taking the next risk, and sometimes it stops you from even getting out of bed. This isn't just guilt. This is something far more destructive, something that convinces you that your inherent value is broken, that you are fundamentally flawed, and that if people really knew the truth about you, they would abandon you instantly. What we're talking about today is the deep psychology of shame. Shame is, statistically, one of the most common blockers to true high performance and authentic leadership, but only because we completely misunderstand how it works. It's a silent killer of potential. Today, we're going to break down exactly how shame holds you hostage, why it thrives, and more importantly, the 3 critical shifts you need to make right now to disarm it completely and step back into your power. The first shift you need to make is learning the critical distinction between shame and guilt. They feel similar, but they operate totally differently. Guilt is functional. It's helpful. Guilt says, I did something wrong. Shame says, I am wrong. Guilt is behavior focused. If you let down a client, guilt prompts you to apologize, fix the contract, and change your process for the future. Guilt is a roadmap for repair and betterment, but shame is identity focused. If you let down that client, shame doesn't just make you want to fix the mistake. It makes you want to hide the mistake because admitting the error feels like admitting you're an incompetent fraud who doesn't deserve success in the first place. This is why shame is so devastating for ambitious people. If you fail, shame makes you believe you failed because you are intrinsically broken. If you can't get that distinction straight, you're constantly fighting an internal war against yourself instead of simply correcting a behavior. Listen closely to that internal voice. If it's attacking your character rather than your conduct, you're caught in the shame spiral. The second key shift is understanding the isolation trap. Shame is a social emotion that paradoxically forces radical isolation. What's the natural instinct when you feel intense, overwhelming shame? You retreat. You hide the evidence. You shut down your phone. You stop showing up in communities where you feel exposed. Shame requires secrecy to survive. It can only thrive in the dark, quiet corners of your mind. Think about it. The moment you actually speak the thing you're ashamed of out loud to a trusted, empathetic friend, mentor, or therapist, what happens? The power of the emotion dissipates almost immediately. It's no longer this massive, unspeakable monster. It's just a situation that happened, a mistake that was made, or a feeling that you experienced. Shame uses secrecy like fuel. The longer you hold on to a mistake or a perceived flaw in isolation, the larger and more terrifying it becomes in your head. The moment you bring it into the light, you realize that the narrative you constructed around it, that you are uniquely flawed and unworthy, is simply not true. If you're hiding, shame is winning the game. The fastest way to dismantle shame is through courageous visibility. The third and most powerful countermeasure is radical self-compassion. This isn't touchy-feely fluff. It's a necessary psychological intervention. Most people, when they mess up, immediately pull out the internal sledgehammer. You idiot. How could you fail at something so simple? You should have known better. Now stop and perform a critical thought experiment. Imagine your best friend came to you with that exact same failure. Would you call them an idiot? Would you tear them down for an hour straight? No. You would instantly say, hey, that was a tough situation. It happens. You learned something valuable. Let's look at what's next. Self-compassion is simply giving yourself the same grace, empathy, and understanding that you instantly and easily extend to the people you care about. It's recognizing that being human means being imperfect. High performance doesn't require perfection. It requires resilience. And you build resilience not by punishing yourself, but by supporting yourself through the inevitable rough patches. You wouldn't motivate a team by constantly degrading them, so stop trying to motivate yourself that way. Treat yourself like the valuable person you are trying to help succeed. Shame isn't your inevitable destiny. It's just an old, misfiring protective mechanism. You don't defeat shame through relentless striving or through achieving perfection. You defeat it through honesty and vulnerability. You must stop confusing your mistakes with your inherent worth. Start practicing the distinction between guilt and shame. Start speaking your private truths into the light. And above all, start treating yourself like the competent, valuable, and perfectly imperfect human being you actually are. If this analysis hit home for you, let me know which of these three shifts, the distinction, the visibility, or the self-compassion, you're going to implement first. Drop a comment below. And if you're serious about building a bulletproof mindset and mastering your emotional landscape, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll see you in the next video.